Morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mr. Jamnik here. Told you I wanted to end with an open-ended problem uh, that I want you guys to look at and think about as reading it to you and how it would apply, if to a real-world situation and how you can use that for modeling and writing an expression. So let me just read it one time. It says, Mr. Jamnik, that's me, has some orange trees. Okay? Who doesn't like oranges, right? He wants to plant them in 46 rows. Okay? If blank is the number of orange trees, write an algebraic expression to represent the trees and the rows. So again, there's a lot when you're reading this. It may not seem like a huge problem, but there's a lot of information that comes in. And again, I want to go back and just keep letting you, again, think about using cubes, right? How you can circle, underline, you can box, all the different ways to help you understand how you're going to eventually solve it, okay? And in this case, I'm asking you guys just to write the algebraic expression based on the problem that you see. So again, let me read it, and then we're going to walk and see what we should underline. Mr. Jamnik has some orange trees, okay? Think about this. Remember, at Waters 24 school, we got that, the ramp, we have that area behind it where the teachers park. Maybe we can plant some orange trees and stuff like that. So try to visualize, we have these trees back there, but we need to figure out the calculations about the rows and the trees. Okay, so Mr. Jamnik has some orange trees. He wants to plant them in 46 rows. If blank is the number of orange trees, and I left that blank just so I hope you guys can think about when you're looking at this, what letter would make sense to use to represent the variable? Okay, because we already have the number 46. We need to think about the variable. So if you're looking at this, some people may say plant, some people may say rows, but again, you're focusing on what? The orange trees that I want to plant at Waters 24 school. So the key thing is if T is the number of orange trees, write an algebraic expression. So we have the 46 rows and we have the T. Now, what's going to make the most sense when we're doing that? Are we going to set it up where we're going to have to add a 46 plus T? Are we going to do the T minus 46 divided by 46 or multiply by 46? There's a lot to think about here and what's making sense about the problem. That's why I said, try to visualize, try to draw a diagram about, you have a tree, okay? Not the best looking tree, but you have oranges, right, coming out, and then how many different rows you need. Okay, but you got to think about that and then try to apply that. You can use the bigger scale when you're thinking about that. So I'm not asking you for the total number of trees to figure out, or the total amount of oranges that we want. I'm thinking about how many trees can be by each row. Then from there, we can think about how many thousands of oranges we can eventually grow per row based on what we have. So the thing that should make sense, and I hope you guys can look at this, it should be T, which represents trees, divided by 46. So now if you're looking at that, Mr. Jamnik has some orange trees. He wants to plant them in 46 rows. If T represents the number of orange trees, write an algebraic expression to represent the trees and the rows. So again, the more I say it, the more I want to underline key things. We have the orange trees represent, plant, all these different things. But the key thing is focusing on the trees and the rows. So I know if I can divide how many trees we need for 46 rows, then I can figure out, right, exactly how I'm going to be placing the trees by each row. And then from that, eventually you could figure out different calculations about how many oranges you get per tree or you get per row. Okay, so these are the different things, and all this stuff that I have for you guys on your assignments and the different forms are all things that are based from your textbook as well that you guys see when we have like the HOT questions, right? The open-ended questions, the higher order thinking questions. This is stuff that we truly need to apply. We've been in the house now for well over a month, so you could think about this as you're maybe like looking at the window or just visualizing other things that you can put yourself in to how you can do different expressions, if you're in a small setting, a large setting, or at our school, and how we can have certain things when we get back, because things are going to be changed a lot when we get back to school eventually. So, think about like how we're going to be sitting. Are we all going to be able to be sitting in the lunchroom together like we do? They're talking about like social distancing. So with that, we could think about how are we going to apply like the different tables per rows? There's so many different obstacles and ways you could think about it, and you just really have to focus on the number that is given, the variable that you're thinking of, and how it applies. Maybe some people want to work backwards and apply that. You draw a diagram. Again, keep thinking about the problem probing protocol. All these different ways are the great ways to help you figure out step by step how it's going to give you the answer. And think about it. Maybe some of you thought maybe multiplication, but then if you go and take a look back, you can see, does it truly apply to the question that I'm asking you? It could if we continued and added on to that. But again, there's so many different things. So I gave you guys some really different kind of work this week to figure out the expressions, how to write it. And then next week we're going to move into solving multiple variables and parentheses and using all the order of operations and all these different ways to really understand. I'm going to try to infuse, real life as much as possible, because we're going through so much stuff, and just to think about how things are going to be, hopefully we go back this year. If not, if we go back next year, how is it going to look in terms of, think about that in the classroom, right? Desks, rows, tables, it's all going to look different. So we can apply all this stuff to the real world. So just something to think about. Again, continue to look at the assignments, look at all the different resources. I'm always uploading for you guys too, materials and resources that you can just look to help as a guide throughout too. And hopefully my videos give you a better understanding. And there's also other things that I uploaded that you guys can take a look at and always apply, and reach out to me for whenever you can. And we'll just continue to move along. And again, we're going to finish out strong. I'm very proud of you guys. Just make sure you keep submitting, checking in, reaching out, staying safe, be well, and look forward to my next video to you guys. Okay, have a great rest of the day. Talk to you soon.